So I just heard about the 4B movement last night, and this is interesting. So I'm a therapist, and I've spoken before about like dating nowadays for men and what all of the societal stuff means for men, for cishet relationships, all of that. By the way, half of my mouth is numb right now because I just got a filling, so bear with me. But if you didn't know, the 4B movement is something that has originated in South Korea, and basically women are over the men there and they are refusing to marry them, sleep with them, have babies with them, all of that stuff. So their population is declining and women are just opting out. And you may have seen some videos recently about guys having a lot of feelings about that, and this idea that like it's coming to the US and the UK and all of that. And I honestly think that's true. So if you're a guy and you're watching this and you're starting to panic, right? Like we've seen the rise of, incels and other types of groups that instead of being like, hey, how can I learn to be a better partner so that it incentivizes women to be my partner, they're kind of going in the other direction. So if that's what's happening for you, please come back from that like really extreme position over there and like, I don't know, let's practice some self-growth. Let's go to therapy. Let's learn about ourselves. Let's learn about the ways in which you can support a female partner, the ways in which you can show up better for yourself and your partner in a relationship, and really incentivize women to want to be in a relationship with you, because women aren't having it nowadays. Like they don't financially have to depend on you. Having adult relationships with people is actually kind of dangerous given the laws that we have right now. So there's not a lot of incentive for women to be with men now. So like, let's work on ourselves. And by ourselves, I mean men, working on themselves so that like women actually want to be with you. Like that would solve that problem. And if you need any help finding a therapist like that, I'm a therapist that loves working with men, loves helping you develop a better relationship with yourself and others. And there's many other therapists like that out there. So feel free to click the link in my bio or just keep looking around TikTok with therapists that are talking about this.
That's right, guys. The women of the West have decided to join the South Korean women in their 4B movement. And just in case you still don't understand what the 4B movement is all about, let me give you a summarized version of it, how it started and what it's all about.
I'm so glad you asked. The 4B movement is a movement in South Korea right now where the misogyny and sexism is so bad that South Korean women have decided to opt out of dealing with men entirely. That is not a joke. That is not an exaggeration. They are not dating men. They are not marrying men. They are not having children with men. They're not even sleeping with men anymore. And it's called the 4B movement because the Korean words for those four things all start with the letter B. This kind of first started happening around 2016 when Kim Ji-young, born 1982, a novel came out. And it is a fictional book about a Korean every woman and all of the misogyny and sexism that she's experienced from literally being a child all the way to her being an adult, suffering with postpartum depression after having her child. Now, this book became a runaway bestseller among South Korean women because they were like, she's just like me for real. And that's kind of when it started cooking, right? Now, the movement officially got its name in 2019, and it's just been going ever since. It's so successful, in fact, that now South Korea has one of the lowest birth rates in the world. The number of deaths in South Korea outnumber the number of births in South Korea. And it's hilarious because all the men and the government are like, oh my God, what do we do? They don't want to like talk to us. They don't want to date us. What do we do? Like everything's in shambles. We don't know what to do. When South Korean women have been very clear from day one, they're like, hey, either you get your act together or we are literally eliminating all of this. Like, we are shutting it down. So that's the 4B movement and why I'm so obsessed with it and why I think we should have the 4B movement everywhere. Thanks for listening. Bye! That South Korean women have decided to opt out of dealing with men entirely. That is not a joke.
Okay, so the creator goes on to explain that women in Korea are not dating men. They are not having sex with men. They are not marrying men. And I can't remember what they said. It's either Korea has the lowest birth rates or one of the lowest birth rates. Due to this choice, due to this movement, and that's wonderful. Let's continue to roll with it. I will only be going to female auto mechanics. I will be only having female servers. This is what I want. This is the world that I'm going to start creating, and I think we all need to adopt, especially here in the United States, when men are going out and assaulting women, punching them in the face. Yeah, no. From now on, they're either going to be BIPOC, they're going to be queer, LGBTQ, they're going to be women. And from now on, I will only be serviced in any way. My interactions day to day will only be by women. And that's just how it's going to go. I want cis het men to feel so uncomfortable. I want them to feel less than. I want them to feel like second-class citizens, because that's exactly what we have been feeling. And maybe now they will finally start getting it.
So yeah, you've heard that. I've also heard from some women and men who are saying that this 4B movement is dead on arrival, because there is no way the women in the West will be able to uphold these principles they are on about, because the feminists have not been able to achieve it. So what makes you think that with the 4B movement they'll be able to achieve it? But I would love to hear from you guys. What's your thoughts so far? And if you've not heard about this before, if this is your first time hearing, I would also love to hear. But let's watch the next clip. I want you guys to hear what these two persons have got to say.
I've been seeing a lot about the 4B movement trending right now, and about South Korea's birth rate. And I've lived in Korea for the last 2 years, and Debo has.
I'm born there. I'm legit.
Okay, Debo was born there, and he's lived there most of his life. He spent 4 years in Canada for exchange student, but that's about it. And so, I think that a lot of people are getting confused about the 4B movement and the South Korea birth rate, and they're kind of saying it's like one or the other. Let me explain. First, I'm going to preface by saying that this is not a Korea of hate video. Every single country in the world has its pros and cons. I love Korea personally. There's things I don't like about it and things I do like about it. But any person, any country has its pros and cons. Every person can improve themselves, and every country can improve themselves too. I don't hate Korea, okay?
You sure?
I'm sure. What the 4B movement is the movement where women are refusing to date, have sex, or have babies or marry any Korean men because of the rampant misogyny and patriarchy in South Korean culture. Some people in Western communities believe that this is the reason that Korea's birth rate is declining so much, because women are refusing to have babies because of the 4B movement. But actually, the 4B movement is a response to the issue that is causing the birth rate decline. It all goes back to Korea's war.
Long time ago, and then we got free from the Japan, and then everybody's working hard. Korean people are smart, work really hard still today. So we develop really fast. But
Korea is actually a pretty small country, if you guys didn't know. You can drive from the top to the bottom of Korea in 4 hours. And so after the war, Korea prioritized developing really, really fast.
yeah,
They put all their efforts into work and into making money, but the rich got richer and the poor stayed poor.
the money goes to the rich people only.
People in Korea work really, really hard, and they don't make a lot of money. The majority do not make a lot of money.
Because of the system right now, my friends cannot afford a house, and they're going like, oh, you know what, we cannot afford a house, why would we marry? And even though we marry, why would we have a kid? I don't want a kid, I just want to live good, I don't want to give this non-house life to my kids. So they decide that, and then women are more educated now, right? Because of the development. But the system is still like old. It's based on the man, right? And then, so it's like we grew fast outside, but inside we got us work to do. We work so much,
Yeah.
like 12 hours, like 4-5 days a week, like 6-5 days, like, and then yeah.
So Koreans work very, very hard and don't make very much money. And because of that, it's not that Korean people aren't dating. I know I have so many friends in Korea who are all dating. But the thing is, even though they're dating and they fall in love with someone and marry them, most Koreans, like right now, the youth, they can't afford a house. Houses are so expensive in Korea, and it is so, so hard to make money in Korea. And because they can't afford a house, why would they want to have a kid if they can't afford a house to raise them in? And this disproportionately affects women. It's not like America, where in America, if you're a single mom or a single teen mom, you can still survive, you can still get by, you can still make things work. In Korea, they don't have the teenage mom culture, a single mom culture, because it's almost impossible to work while pregnant or while having a baby or having a kid, because the Korean system is very patriarchal. It's very patriarchal, and there's not many systems in place for protecting women. Yeah. So if you're a woman, why would you have a kid if you don't have any money, if you can't make money?
Yeah.
So
remember, the Koreans are smart, so why would they? And they gotta change the perception of the family and the kid too, because like some people are really uncomfortable with the kids, you know, like that's just the perception. Like kids are annoying, you know. We should make a no kid zone.
So it's like there's a lot of cons to having kids right now in Korean society. There's definitely more cons than there are pros. Let's say if you're a woman, you get married, dating somebody, even if he can afford to support you while you are raising the child, you can't support yourself, so you become completely dependent on this person for money, for freedom to do what you want to do, because your life becomes revolving around the child.
Think about it. Everybody works so hard but not get enough money. But why would they have a kid?
Capitalism is the biggest cause of declining birth rate in South Korea. Since the rich stay rich, the rich are not really affected by this declining birth rate, because the rich can afford to have a house, can afford to do all these things, so they aren't really concerned about the birth rate declining, because they're fine. Korea's social policies are also underdeveloped when it comes to foreigners, because there's no laws in place either to protect foreigners in Korea, where, for example, it's completely legal for a club to charge Koreans, let's say $10, but charge all foreigners $20 to enter the same club. Discrimination like that is completely legal. There's no laws in place to protect foreigners because they didn't really have to before. Korea only has about, I think, 4% of people who aren't South Korean. So because of this, they haven't really had to develop that side yet.
Yeah, because it's just like simply the major people get the benefit and the minor people they don't know about it. So they don't make any rules about it. They don't really care because they're focused on the major. So that's why. And Korea's most of people like me, looking like me, hair like me. We have some gender issue.
Yes.
Because of we all have a same race.
Their most defining differences would be gender. And so since men are in power, the patriarchy in Korea, women are very disadvantaged in Korea.
Yeah, and the men's are, they've been rich, they've been doing, so why would they want to change, And they're like not there yet.
And so as women get more and more educated, they are more vocal about these issues and the discrimination and the imbalance of power in Korea. And right now in Korea, feminist is actually considered a dirty term. Like, guys really hate feminists. It's kind of like America in 2011 or 12, like when feminist was this bad thing. I am a proud feminist. I am definitely a feminist, but in Korea, men see feminists as, oh, you hate men. You're this radical left-winger who just hates and despises men. You're a dirty feminist. And there's actually been cases of women getting fired from their jobs for expressing their opinions that align with feminism.
I think it's all just the violence is going on. We've been through everything is gonna happen. So because of the men being dominated too much, so now it's women speaking up. Sometimes they speak like too much, but as a like
Wait, we gotta pause you. We're out of time. We have 5 seconds left. So let us know if you want a part 2. Part 2 of explaining why Korea's birth rate is the way it is, and the patriarchy, misogyny in Korean culture.
So what happened was like so Korea feminist movement started it, and then it was doing good, and then sometimes things go like sometimes it feel like too much, and then men, our generation guys are like, come on, that's nonsense, because we didn't do that, because our father generation did that. So sometimes it feels like too much, but also the guys like me get the legacy from the father generation, and then which is like good for the guys, and then we don't talk about we shut the fuck up about the pros, and then cons comes too. So I think it's all the historically is balancing out. So I think guys they should just shut the fuck up and just women do too much, and then it's all gonna come to balance, because they've been so pressured long time. So it's the time to let it out.
So yeah, so Korean men have been so privileged in Korean society traditionally, and so feminists. Since this is the power balance in Korea, so feminists are being very, very, very vocal about it, because we need to even the gap. But because of this, Korean men kind of take it as a personal attack, like they're pointing fingers at them, like it's your fault.
I understand both, because as a guy, come on, I didn't do that, my generation did that, but for example, I had cons about really advantage was I was doing the part-time job in the restaurant, and then this ma'am she had an idea about the sons are better, so she treated me really good, not to the girls, she treated me like her son, cause I'm the guy, those kind of advantage I had, a lot of guys have too. So
because sons can make more money, sons get paid more, sons can do more things, so men are. And
then it's just we do the when people die, we do the food, and then we bow to the ghost to they feed the food, and then mostly sons legacy does that, but things are getting changed,
Yes.
And people know a lot as through the TikTok.
So socially, Korea has a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room.
So it's think about really future city, but inside it's kind of old school too.
Yes. So they're just the exterior is very, very good, because Korean people worked very hard to build their culture.
Service is so good, delivery, oof.
And then it even extends to even K-pop culture. People out here, we love K-pop in America. I know that it's reached global audiences, and so has K-dramas and stuff. I don't personally really listen to K-pop that much, but I know it's popular in America.
I don't really listen to K-pop too.
I know that it's very popular in other countries, and so this is good for Korea, because exteriorly it looks really good, and it brings in money and profit to Korea. But interiorly, K-pop music system is very bad for the actual workers, for the actual idols who are performing this culture, because they're basically just products. It's in LA, we make fun of if someone does a 360 deal, where it's they control your whole life, but pretty much every deal in Korean music culture is a 360 deal.
Yeah,
you become a puppet.
Not me.
He's independent. He's a rapper, but he's independent. He never wanted to sign because.
And if you guys want to talk about Korea, you should come to Korea. It's really fun. There's a lot of clubs, a lot of drinking. We lit partying. You guys should visit.
You guys should visit, but I understand that not everyone can afford to visit. It's an expensive flight to a very far area, but it's very interesting. I think that those who are able to should try to travel, because traveling is really interesting, because other countries are so different than our own. It's a whole different viewpoint and perspective, and there's a lot of things that I did not understand until going to Korea, because my world was America, where everyone is aware about everything. But Debo, for example, was not aware about a bunch of things that we're super aware of America.
Yeah, Korea is really small.
Korea is very small.
And it's divided north and south.
Oh, my hair, but
Sorry.
But yeah.
My greatest highlight of 2024 is finally finding out about 4B, what the 4B movement is. And now you're all going to know what it is, because if you don't know, it's going to brighten your day, ladies. So the 4B movement is a movement that's been going on, that's been created by the women in South Korea since 2019. I think 2019, which is insane that I just found out about it now. So what the 4B movement is it's named 4B because the 4 words in their language start with B. Somebody said that. I think that's true. But the women of South Korea have gotten so fed up with the misogyny, the sexism, the mistreatment of women, mothers, young girls, that they collectively decided they're not dating, they're not marrying, they're not having sex, and they're not having children with men. It is iconic. Iconic. And I believe there was another movement that I'm remembering, like in this moment, of maybe a Northern European country where the women were so upset that none of them went to work for like a few days, and like their economy was like collapsing. I have to do research on that. This is just kind of flying off of my head right now. But I think about that for us. Like, imagine we're 51% of our country's population in the United States. Imagine if all of us just stopped purchasing things for one day. Like we canceled our subscriptions. We didn't purchase anything on our credit cards, on our debit cards, or like a week. Imagine just all women didn't buy anything for a week. Like, the economy would literally dismantle itself. So essentially, the women of South Korea, standing on business, freaking inspiring. But the women of South Korea have gotten so fed up with the misogyny.
Oh, girl, wait, hold on. It's so much worse than that. It's so much worse. And I mean worse in a really good way. Like, like, yay, team. The situation has gotten so bad. They don't have any kids. They don't have any first graders enrolled in over 150 schools. And the gag is they've only been doing this since 2019. So in 5 years' time, they have managed to erase an entire class of youth. It didn't even take them that long. It's only been 5 years. This is really bad. Now, I took statistics in high school, and I don't remember much. But I do recollect what my teacher said when numbers drastically change consistently over a certain amount of time, whether it goes up or down, whether it is good or bad, once it gets to a certain point of no return, that shit's like a domino effect. It's only either gonna get better or worse. And if these women in Korea continue this for another 5 to 10 years, oh boy. Like, think about it. In 10 years, stacked on top of the 5 they already got underneath their belt, 15 years go by, there will not be a graduating class of 2039. We could very well see an entire generation completely wiped within our generation. And Korea it ain't little. It's so fascinating that they've managed to do this in such a short amount of time. Like 5 years. No first graders? Just imagine what that looks like in like 4 years. There won't be whole ass elementary schools, period. And they're trying to pay these women. They're so desperate. They're like, all right, listen, hold on. We'll cut you a check. For every kid that you have, we'll give you like 75 grand. And them ladies was like, fuck out of here. No, that's quite all right. This is delicious. I truly hope that, women here in the States can get it together long enough to make this happen here. If fuck around and find out
was the ultimate stage, it would be right here.
Boy, that 4B shit right up my fucking alley. You bitches don't want to talk to niggas no more. Let's do it, sisters! I seen a video of a dude talking about you bitches. Well, he didn't say you bitches, but I'm gonna say you bitches because y'all know I love to say you bitches. He said you bitches don't want to talk to men no more. Y'all don't want to be in relationships. Y'all don't want to have their kids no more. Y'all don't even want to have sex with niggas no more. Y'all ain't gonna do shit but turn into lesbians and start fucking with each other. Okay, and bitch, and it was bro before we got to this 4B shit, but now y'all in the fucking uproar now. Okay? These motherfuckers are shaking in them gray sweatpants. Bitch, we don't give a fuck about them no more. Okay? Y'all was always choosing y'all homeboys over us any motherfucking way. What's wrong with us choosing our bitches? Okay? Y'all want to be sassy and gay so motherfucking bad. Y'all don't want to do what a bitch asked y'all to do. The bare fucking minimum. Y'all can't even fucking do that shit. So good motherfucking riddance. We don't want y'all ass. We good. We cool on it. Okay, y'all made this motherfucking bed. Y'all gotta fucking lay in it. And if you gotta put your homeboys in there, do that. Cause ain't no bitches gonna be in it, okay?
So I genuinely wish that people would, inform themselves properly about any agenda that is ongoing, so they will be able to plug in from the right area and even plug in rightly, instead of just jumping in just because they're seeing it on social media. And besides, if not for TikTok, I don't think I would have ever heard about this 4B movement. And the most funny part of it all is that it's the Western women that are driving it, and the way they're going on about it, you think that the one that invented the 4B movement. And from what they're saying, it's obvious that they don't even know the full details of it. And like I keep saying, why don't women focus on encouraging other women on how to choose the right men, choose men that have aligned values as yourself, and also better yourself. Learn to discern bad men for who they are, instead of just jumping in with all your feet and your hands all in when a man says hello to you, and right away you are having a baby with a man that has not married you, a man that has not made his intentions known to you, a man that has not even gone to know anything about you, a man that has never ever discussed the future with you, or yet you're comfortable laying down with that man, creating babies, and later on you're not going to be blaming all men, saying how men has come. Meanwhile, you were the one that decided this come was enough for you to lay down with. I don't know if you guys are getting my point. I'm all for women, having the right, but as a woman, what do you actually want? And go where you'll be appreciated. Every time it's all about what a woman wants, What? My dear, what about what the men want? And can you take yourself to the men that will respect you enough to see you as a human being worthy of being appreciated for who she is? I know some people will call me, pick me, but I don't care. Go where you are appreciated, so that I will not be hearing all these up and down arguments. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are on this whole 4B movement, and also the 4G movement that the men started in retaliation to this. Bye, guys.